we learned just now, parallel vectors could be of different length as long as they are heading the same direction, or they could be heading the opposite direction. That could be counted as parallel as well. So let me give you like 3 examples. So let's say this is a vector A, and the second vector is sort of like 2 times the length of A. So this would be 2A, and the third vector is actually in opposite direction. So this is like negative 2A because it's of the same length. So these are all considered as parallel vectors, and you can see that although the numbers are different, like this is just A and that's 2A and that's negative 2A, they are all heading the same direction or in exactly the opposite. That's called parallel. So the idea of parallel is it's related to this equation A equals to KB, where K is the constant. So it means that if 2 of the vectors are parallel, they are sort of related to each other. It's just that maybe the number in front is different. So it could be a number, it could be negative, it could be a fraction. So that's okay. So for example, if we have a question like if vector A is 2, negative 1, and vector A is parallel to vector B, which is S and 2, the question asks find the value of S. So we are trying to get what is S. We know that if 2 vectors are parallel, they have an equation in the form of A equals to KB. So in this situation, my A is 2 and negative 1, and my B is S2. My K is a constant number, but at this moment I do not know what the number is. In order to find the value of S, we could start by looking at the bottom number first. So in this equation, it means that negative 1 equals to K times 2. K times 2. And I know that in order to get my value K, I have to shift my 2 down. So my K is actually a negative half. So once I get the value of my K, I know that I can focus on the top number right now, which is 2 equals to Ks. And now I know that my K is negative half times S. In order to find the value of S, I sort of need to shift my numbers around. So just doing normal algebraic solving, I can find that the answer is negative 4 equals to S. So I have found the value of S. Another thing that I want to discuss in this unit is unit vectors. So what is the meaning of unit vector? Unit vectors are vectors that only has a length of 1 unit. So the length of the vector is one unit. Okay, so what does it mean? So maybe given that I have a vector of, so this is a different. So in the next part, we are focusing on unit vector, and unit vector means that it is still a vector, but the length needs to be 1 unit. So for example, if I have a question like find the unit vector in the direction of A, and A has a vector like this. So the first step that we need to know is what is the actual length of the vector. So the actual length of the vector can be found by finding the magnitude, which we have learned earlier, which is we have to 3 square, take up plus negative 1 square and square root. So this will give us a square root 10. So this is the length of the vector, but however, because we just want, this vector will have this length, but however, because we just want it, we want the length to be 1 unit, we have to divide this vector by square root 10. So the unit vector of A, the unit vector of A will be 1 over square root 10 times 3 negative 1. I can put it this way because this means that this vector will divide by square root 10. So if this is 1 unit, how do I find a vector of length 4 units? So that's another question. A vector of length 4 units in the direction of A. So I need to find a vector in the direction of A, but it is in 4 units. It's really easy because we already have the unit vector, which is of length 1. In order to get it in 4 units, we just have to take the unit vector times by 4. So we will get this as the answer. Does that make sense? So if we want to find vectors of length 4 units which are parallel to A, it means that if I need to find vectors of length 4 units parallel to A, you can see that these two questions are different because this is in the same direction of A. Parallel could mean it's in the same direction or it's opposite in direction. So in order to solve a question like that, all we have to do is add the positive and negative in front of the answer that we found previously, because the answer we found previously is already 4 units in length. So that would be the answer.